My website went from literally getting 0 leads per week to now getting over 100 leads per week without spending a single penny on paid advertising. And in this video, I'm going to show you the main methods of lead generation that I've used to take me from a website that was struggling to break 20k a month to now breaking 80k months, all while being able to travel the world to places like Bali, Dubai, and Hong Kong, consistently getting high quality leads to my website and being able to get enough leads where I'm actually able to turn away the businesses that I just don't want to work with. And just to show you that the proof is really in the pudding, 12 months ago, I didn't even have a mailing list. Now I have over 5,000 businesses in this alone. And this is before my social media following, YouTube channel, and software product, all of which consistently drive inbound leads on top of this. And before we get started about how you can actually drive leads through your website, the only caveat that I'm going to say before we get into this is it only works if you've got a niche. If you're trying to target everyone and anyone, this just won't work. This is exactly what I was trying to do before. I was a master of everything, which ultimately led me to being a master of nothing. Potential leads saw this and just weren't compelled to come to me and give themselves up as a lead. So before you start, you need to make sure that you pick a niche, which is a topic for a completely different video. Without further ado, let's get into the 3 steps that I went from getting 0 inbound leads per week to now consistently getting over 100 leads per week from my website. Diving into our first step, this involves leveraging forums and existing communities. And because we're at step 1 here, the first thing that we need to start doing to get leads for our website is actually drive traffic to it. And the reason that we target forums and communities is this allows you to target a concentrated group of potential customers. To find where these groups are, all you need to do is find where your target customers hang out online. Think Facebook groups, Reddit, communities, Instagram, wherever they are, find free ways in order to connect with them and join those spaces. The last thing you want to do at this point though is reach out to them yet, because this is likely going to get you banned. You need to make sure you do the following first. For me personally, I did this by joining forums and Facebook communities, and once you're in the same space of target customers, what I want you to do is start answering questions and problems that they have. I don't want you to pitch your service at all. I just want you to provide value, and realistically you should be doing this at least 30 times before plugging any of your resources that you might have on your website. You need to make sure that you have patience and consistency. It's taken me a year to get to the point where I am now, so you've just got to trust the process. For example, for me, I have a Squarespace SEO agency and software, so I joined Squarespace Facebook groups and I started answering any questions that are about Google, SEO, ranking up on search engines. I shared this value for completely free and just made sure that I was the first to help. The reason that you want to do this, because realistically you're at step 1. You need to make sure that you build trust and reputation. And one of the benefits is if you do it on some forums, you can even add a link to your website and some signatures, which when you're starting to answer questions is going to drive people towards your website. Only once you've been providing a lot of value for a long enough period of time and even made friends within these communities, you'll soon be seen as the guy, the people that go to when people have questions about your area of expertise. While step 1 of going into communities and providing value may seem like a lot of work, if you're anything like the position I was in 12 months ago, where I was struggling to get any form of consistent lead generation, my recommendation is just suck it up, do the work, and get to the point where you've built up trust with your target customers in these forums, because once you've done that, you're going to be able to start to share your story, share any resources, and even reply with Loom videos where you answer the question and solve the problem of target customers, and then softly push people towards a CTA, which might be booking a call with you. On top of that, if you're lucky and you've really spent the time in order to build trust in these communities, other people in them might even at you in any post where people have problems or questions, which is naturally going to lead to more authority, more trust, and will begin to drive leads to your website. I've been doing this for so long now that I even get members of my team to respond to posts in forums. Again, all of this drives high quality traffic to my website, which then ultimately drives leads through steps 2 and 3, which are going to walk you through now. So now we've covered how to actually get early traffic and interest to your website. Now I'm going to cover how to actually capture those leads when they're on your website. Now, one of the most common pitfalls that I see here is businesses only relying on contact forms. If you're solely relying on contact forms in order to capture a significant number of leads, this is probably the biggest reason that you're failing. Contact forms are super inefficient because only 3% of your target customers are ready to buy now. So if you only try and lure them in via contact forms, you're turning away 97% of potential customers who might want to work with you in the future, but just aren't at the stage where they're ready to get in touch via a contact form. So to counter this, I want you to add lead generation magnets to your website. These are going to be free pieces of gated content that people must enter their contact information to receive. If you don't really know what these are, I really recommend you checking out Alex Hormozi's book called $1 Million Leads. But in short, lead generation magnets are likely going to be PDF guides that you add to your website that people enter their contact information to receive. In general, these guides should be so good at solving a niche problem that your target customers have, which when solved unveils a wider problem that someone may need to buy your product or service to solve. The example that I added to my website was an in-depth Squarespace SEO checklist in the form of a PDF. My target customers know they need SEO or know that they need to rank higher up on Google, but just don't know how to do it. This checklist was super helpful at solving this niche problem of knowing where to start, but then revealed a wider problem that they may not have the know-how or the time to properly execute this, which is naturally where my software product and SEO agency comes in. So in short, now you're starting to drive some interest to your website through forums, you're starting to get that niche traffic to your website. I want you to make sure that you add effective ways to turn that interest into lead generation, because there's no point getting traffic if it's not going to get you any leads. And no matter what niche your website is in, once you're starting to get that early traffic, we need to be able to actually get the contact information of customers that come to our website. But now we've covered how to get some early traffic to your website and lead generation magnets. Next, we're going to move on to one of the highest leverage things that any website or business can do in order to get more leads. And what this step is, it's recording YouTube videos and writing blog content about specific pain points and problems that your target customers have. This method works so well because for one content idea, you're able to create a two-touch approach, which is going to significantly increase the amount of eyeballs on your business and on your website. And of course, without these eyeballs, you're not going to get leads in the first place, even if you nail the lead generation magnet step. In general, these blogs and YouTube videos that you create should be hyper specific to your target audience and the leads that you're trying to capture. The benefit when you make it hyper specific is that the algorithm is naturally going to promote it to that audience. For me, because I created a ton of Squarespace specific content that spoke to my audience and the pain points that they have, when they found that content, they gained a ton of value for completely for free, felt heard because I spoke to them, and they naturally built trust in me and my business before they even came to my website. And one of the biggest reasons that I recommend this if you're trying to get leads for your website is this two-touch approach works really well because Google owns YouTube. If you have a YouTube video about the same topic that you have a blog post and you embed that YouTube video in the blog post, because Google owns YouTube, you're more likely to rank higher up on Google, which means you're more likely to get the right kind of eyeballs onto your website and onto your YouTube videos. One extra benefit of this, because you're creating hyper-specific content, looking back to step one, because you've got content around the pain points and questions that your target customers have, once you've built trust through step one in communities and forums and you have a strong enough reputation, when people ask questions or have any problems, you can simply reply with that content that you've created. For example, outside of Squarespace SEO, I also have a solid reputation in self-storage SEO. My self-storage YouTube video is hyper-specific, and we have a corresponding blog post that ranks on page one of Google, which made me 40K alone last month. Because that video and blog content is hyper-specific, while it doesn't get thousands of views, it gets views from the right people, which ultimately leads to more leads to my website. And while creating this niche specific blog content and YouTube video may not be the easiest thing to do at times because you're not going to get thousands of views, personally, in my opinion, I'm not here to get thousands of views. I'm here to get 100 views from the right kind of people that are likely to become a lead for my website, ultimately pay for my product or service. And that's exactly how you should see it too. If you want to capture leads, you need to go to the niche. You need to focus down and funnel the right kind of people to your website who are going to get value from the content that you have on there, and you need to be hyper specific to their pain point. When they watch that content or read your blogs, they know it's for them and they're much more likely to give themselves up as a lead on your website. So guys, that's a full breakdown how I went from a business that was struggling to get any form of consistent lead generation to the website to a thriving business that's now getting over 100 inbound leads per week. And by focusing on these three strategies, I've been able to completely transform my business, and hopefully by sharing these tactics, you're going to be able to do the same same. So if you found any of this helpful, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel where I share tons of tips for how businesses can get leads through the website to ultimately get more sales and revenue. So thanks again, guys. Hopefully I'll see you in the next video.